Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Book Central Inside the Pages, where we dive deep into the worlds of books, publishing, and everything in between. I'm Abbie, your host, and today's episode is a game changer, especially for authors and aspiring authors who are ready to turn their love of writing into a real business. It's one thing to write a book, and it's another to build a sustainable career around it, and today we're going to unpack how to do just that. I'm thrilled to welcome a very special guest, Max Goodyear. Max is not only an authorpreneur himself but a strategist who has helped countless writers develop successful book businesses. Max, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Abbie. I'm delighted to be here and excited to share some insights. Turning your writing into a business is such an empowering journey, and there are so many paths to success. Hopefully, today's conversation will help shed light on some of those paths for all the writers listening.
Thanks, Maximum. Let's set the stage a bit here. Many writers I know start out thinking of writing as a pure form of self-expression or even as a passion project. It's a deeply personal experience for them. Can you talk about what it takes to shift from that mindset of seeing writing as simply an art form to understanding it as a legitimate business venture? What are the first mental shifts that have to happen for that transformation?
That's a great question, Abbie, and it's actually one of the most critical steps in the whole process. I think the first mental shift is to realize that a successful book business doesn't diminish the creative part of writing, it enhances it. A business-minded author understands that the creative side is what fuels their work, but that strategic thinking and planning are what sustain it. Writers need to start viewing their books not just as individual projects but as assets, each with potential to build revenue, attract readers, and contribute to their overall brand. In other words, when you're treating your writing as a business, you're setting long-term goals, you're keeping an eye on the market, and you're constantly building something bigger than any one book.
So in a way, you're saying that each book is part of a broader portfolio. It's about creating an overall business structure around your writing, where the books are products, right?
Exactly, Abbie. Think of each book as a building block or as part of a series of offerings you're making to readers. As a business, your books collectively contribute to your brand, attract new readers, and build your audience. Having this mindset from the beginning can help shape decisions you make along the way, from marketing strategies to pricing and even to what genre you write in.
That brings us nicely to our first big topic, Maximum. Let's say someone is ready to get serious about the business side of things. What would you say is the first concrete step they need to take in order to start treating their writing like a business?
To me, the absolute first step is understanding your audience inside and out. Writing is one part creative expression, but it's also about meeting the expectations and desires of the people who will actually buy and read your book. Knowing your audience isn't just about demographics like age or gender. It's understanding what makes them tick, what genres they love, the types of characters they connect with, and even what they expect from a writer. This knowledge allows you to write books that your readers are going to connect with and share, which is essential for building a loyal fan base.
Right. And when you say understanding the audience, are you also talking about researching the genre and subgenres that readers are interested in? Could you walk us through how an author could go about identifying and targeting a specific niche?
Absolutely. Researching your genre and even narrowing down to a subgenre is a crucial part of positioning yourself as an author. For instance, let's say you're writing thrillers. That's great, but the thriller market is enormous. Now, if you narrow it down further, say, to military thrillers, you're starting to reach a more specific audience. Researching can involve looking at the bestsellers in that niche, reading reviews, joining reader groups online, and paying attention to what fans are discussing. Once you've found your niche, you can tailor your writing, cover design, and marketing to fit that specific audience, which makes your book stand out in a crowded market.
This leads into another critical piece of the puzzle: branding. Max, can you talk about what an author's personal brand actually is, and why it's so important?
Sure, Abbie. When we talk about branding, many people think of logos or maybe their book cover style. But an author's brand is more about the feeling or expectation a reader has when they hear your name. Think of it as your identity in the literary world. Your brand should reflect who you are, what your books represent, and what your readers can consistently expect from you. A strong brand helps create trust and recognizability, so your readers know they're not just buying a book, they're buying into a unique experience that only you provide.
That makes a lot of sense. What are some practical steps for building this brand, especially for authors just starting out? Should they focus more on social media, or is it better to start with a website?
Starting with a website is ideal because it serves as your central hub. Even if social media trends change, your website is yours, and you can use it to share news, updates, and blog posts that deepen your connection with readers. From there, establish a presence on one or two social media platforms. I'd suggest starting where your target readers are if they're younger, maybe Instagram or TikTok if they're older, Facebook. Consistency is key. Post regularly, share snippets of your work, and let your readers get to know you. The goal is to create a space where your personality and writing style come through.
Marketing seems to be a challenging area for most authors, especially those who might not be as comfortable with technology. In your experience, Max, what's the single most important digital marketing tool that authors should focus on?
Without a doubt, it's email marketing. An email list is like gold because it's direct access to your audience without the interference of algorithms. You have control over who sees your message. I recommend starting an email list as early as possible, even if you're just writing your first book. Offer something valuable as an incentive for sign-ups, maybe a free sample chapter, a short story, or exclusive content related to your work. Then, stay in touch regularly with newsletters, updates, and even early access to new releases.
How often should an author be emailing their list, in your opinion? I think people worry about overwhelming their subscribers.
Good question. I usually recommend a monthly newsletter as a minimum, but twice a month is even better if you have content to share. You don't want to be so frequent that people tune out, but you also don't want to be so rare that they forget about you. Think of it as cultivating a relationship. Consistency matters.
And then there's social media, right? How should authors approach it without feeling overwhelmed?
Social media is more about engagement than promotion. Pick one or two platforms that you enjoy, because if you hate it, that will come through. Share updates on your writing, interact with readers, and don't be afraid to share glimpses of your life behind the scenes. It's all about making a connection with your audience, not just selling to them.
I think a lot of authors get stuck on the idea that the only way they'll make money is through direct book sales. Can you talk about other ways an author can monetize their writing?
Definitely. There are so many avenues. Aside from book sales, consider online courses. If you have expertise in an area of your writing, you can offer classes on writing techniques, self-publishing, or even specific genres. Public speaking is another great option, especially if you're knowledgeable about topics related to your books. Merchandise, audiobook versions, and even a Patreon or subscription model can bring in extra revenue and deepen your engagement with your readers.
It's almost like building a mini empire, isn't it? Each of these streams supports and promotes the others.
Exactly. And it all strengthens your brand, giving readers more ways to connect with you and support your work. Diversifying income streams is a powerful way to make sure that, if one area falters, you have others that keep your business steady.
Max, can we talk about the importance of networking in this process? How critical is it to connect with others in the industry?
Networking is essential. Writing might feel solitary, but the business side thrives on relationships. Connecting with other authors can open doors to collaborations, joint promotions, guest blogging, and more. Meeting editors, designers, and even readers at conferences or online can provide fresh ideas and insight. When you're in touch with others, you stay inspired and plugged into what's happening in the industry.
It sounds like networking not only builds your support system but also holds you accountable in some ways.
Yes, exactly. It also keeps you motivated and reminds you that you're not in it alone. When you see others succeeding, it pushes you to keep going.
This has been incredibly enlightening, Maximum. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts for authors who are ready to step into the business side of writing?
Yes, Abbie. I'd say, remember that building a book business takes time, and consistency is key. Set realistic goals, be willing to learn as you go, and keep an adaptable mindset. It might not always be smooth, but if you stay committed to both your craft and your strategy, you'll make progress. Every small step contributes to the bigger picture.
Thank you so much, Max, for all this valuable advice. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning into Books Central Inside the Pages. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to take your writing to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights, and we'll catch you in the next episode.